An unthinkable tragedy inside a Triad High School.
Hearts heavy for Mount Tabor tonight. A student is dead. Another student in custody. Hundreds of others stunned after hours of panic, fear, and uncertainty.
Not here. Not right here in this particular area. You know, things happen like, but not at school, where they're going to learn.
I hear people screaming by the bathroom. And I heard 2 gunshots go off.
Our teacher told us that we needed to get on the floor under our desks, and he turned the lights off.
Families desperate to see loved ones finally reunited.
Though the danger is gone, the fear remains.
And the world's just not a safe place anymore. I'm just scared.
WFMY News 2 at 11 starts right now.
Stories from the aftermath of today just starting to unfold. A student is dead after a shooting at Mount Tabor High School in Winston-Salem. William Chavis Raynard Miller Jr. was just 15 years old.
All the other students and staff are safe tonight, but some were not reunited with their families until after 8 p.m. That is more than 8 hours of waiting and worry for those kids and parents. But tonight, the suspect is in custody.
And Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools says Mount Tabor will not hold classes tomorrow. We expect to get more updates from the sheriff's office tomorrow as well.
Our team has been on top of this story since it began. The investigation at the school, the shifted staging areas for parents, and the arrest of a suspect. Tonight, our teams are spread across this community, bringing you updates to every aspect of this difficult day.
We're going to bring you all of that in a moment, but first, a look at how we got here. Investigators say the suspect shot someone at 12:05 this afternoon inside Mount Tabor High School in Winston-Salem. The school quickly locked down. Several other campuses locked down as a precaution also.
The district aimed to move students to a staging area so they could be reunited with their families. Buses went back and forth from the school. The first staging area was at the Harris Teeter on Peacehaven Road. Crowds of parents gathered, desperate to see their children. Then, reports of gunfire in the area. Officers were quick to respond. The staging area moved to a new location.
I'm just nervous right now because we don't know where our children are, if they're safe. I just don't know what's going on at this time.
I was nervous, at first, and nervous for the other parents, that don't know what's going on out here, and like I said, I was just nervous, man. It's crazy, man. It's a sad situation.
She's okay, but yeah, she's scared. She said that the police came in with dogs and made them all stick their hands in the air, and then they're all huddled in the dark, in a corner because they didn't know where the shooter was.
The investigation brought law enforcement to just outside Kernersville. Ring doorbell video from someone's house appears to show officers taking someone into custody. A day of chaos, concern, and confusion. But through it all, Winston-Salem and the Triad remain Spartan strong. That was the message on this billboard just across the street from the LJVM Coliseum. The man in charge of the sign says he has 2 kids who go to Mount Tabor High School, and he felt compelled to do something to lift the community's spirits.
Imagine what it must have felt like to be a Mount Tabor parent today. Like you, they were all waiting anxiously to see how this would unfold. And now we are hearing from the students who were inside and the parents who could barely wait a minute more. Chaos around lunchtime on the campus of Mount Tabor High School.
I was in the classroom and I hear people screaming by the bathroom. Then I heard 2 gunshots go off, and I heard some people say he shot, and he said he hit.
Freshman Jabray Kothan said it sounded like it happened right outside his door.
And I heard banging on my classroom door. And I was just, I say shaking a little bit. I text my mama and say, come get me a moochie because they shooting at the school.
His older brother was also on campus. Word quickly spread amongst his family.
My brothers, that's all I wanted at the time, just my brothers.
Senior Matthew Maynard was also inside. At first, he thought it was another drill. That quickly changed.
Our teacher told us that we needed to get on the floor under our desks, and he turned the lights off. And then that's kind of when it got really real.
The 17-year-old also reached out to his family.
I texted my mom and said, we're going into community lockdown, everything's okay.
He and his classmates hid in their room for the next hour and a half.
The officers started to come into our room, and we moved through the hallway with our hands on our heads and into the media center, which was right down the hall.
He'd stay there for the next 6 hours.
I was just concerned and a little worried, and obviously a little scared.
The longer the time dragged on and on and on, we were all wondering, when is this going to actually end?
Once the school was secure, police escorted students by bus to the Joel Coliseum, where eager families had gathered.
For me, it's just seeing him walk through that door and knowing that he's safe and everything's okay.
We are standing here today with you and with you. It could have been the other way around. It could have been we were trying to make plans at the cemetery.
It does make you really thankful for the moments you have with them and the time you have with them, because gosh, you just never know when something bad's going to happen.
Relieved families embracing their stunned students, knowing it will take some time to recover from this tragedy.
But so just pray for the family. Pray for the ones who made it out. Pray for the ones that just went to jail. But especially pray for the family who actually lost their child.
It would be impossible to tell this story without talking about the teachers and the staff members who were also inside today. Students I talked to told us they were grateful for the teachers for keeping them calm and helping navigate them through this really terrible situation. We continue our team coverage now with WFMY News 2's Jenna Kurzina, who is live outside Kernersville tonight. Jenna, what does this location have to do with the shooting investigation here in Winston-Salem?
Chad, law enforcement was all over Winston-Salem today as they searched for the suspect. Now, right now, we are off Kernersville Road, which is about 25 minutes from Mount Tabor High School, about a 25-minute drive from there. Now, a video from a Facebook user caught our attention. Now, that video came from a neighbor who lives not far from here, and then another video was captured by a Ring doorbell from that same neighborhood.
Come outside!
In this video, you see a very active police presence outside of a home. Law enforcement with guns drawn led people outside of the house. A woman went live on Facebook from her front porch once she heard all the commotion. Another video from a Ring doorbell camera across the street also captured the same scene from a different angle. It shows authorities handcuffing someone, and it looks like they take him into custody. The officers and the person detained walked out of the camera's view. The homeowner who shared this video with us didn't want to talk on camera, but he says he also saw police earlier today on University Parkway. He says he never expected to come home to this scene in his neighborhood, but it all played out on video at about 5 p.m. Again, authorities searched all over Winston-Salem for hours today. Now, this video happened to be caught and shared with us. At this time, investigators are saying they are not saying who they took into custody here, but we do know a suspect in today's shooting has been arrested, and we hope to learn much more tomorrow at 11 a.m. at a press conference, and we will continue to bring you those updates both on air and online.
Jenna, thank you. We are also learning more about the suspected shooter now that suspect is in police custody. WFMY News 2's Grace Holland is live outside the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office with an update. Grace.
We are told by the Sheriff's Office that that suspect is going to be processed as a juvenile. We don't know their specific age at this point, but we are expecting that some sort of court proceeding could come as early as tomorrow. We will keep you updated on that, but we do not want to lose sight of the victim here. His family and friends are in mourning for William Chavis Raynard Miller Jr. His mother asked the sheriff to let the world know his name. This evening, a local church held a prayer gathering to call for everyone to grieve and process. Let's take a listen.
And it's just a reminder that as parents, we can't be there, but God can.
William Chavis Raynard Miller Jr. He is no longer with us or his peers, and probably died over something very, very meaningless.
Before Talia goes to school, and this is every morning, we always pray. That's every single morning. And we do that without ceasing. And so we firmly believe. We believe that because of that our daughter was protected today.
This shooting happened, and it impacted this entire city.
Tragedy happens. It's not the time to run from God, but God wants you to know that He is a very present help.
Pray for him, pray for his family, pray for his friends.
Again, we are waiting to learn more about that suspect. What we know right now is that they are a juvenile and a Mount Tabor High School student.
Grace, thank you. After the shooting, and understandably, parents tried desperately to pick up their kids. WFMY News 2's Avery Powell spent hours at the Harris Teeter on Peace Haven Road today, where parents were frantically trying to get information about how to be reunited with their children.
Well, parents completely cleared out of this Harris Teeter parking lot around 7 tonight, but for a while they didn't know when they will be able to see their kids.
The hardest part is waiting for a parent.
Parents waited for hours trying to reconnect with their children after the shooting at Mount Tabor High School.
It's a parent's worst nightmare.
And I'm just nervous right now because we don't know where our children are.
Parents were first told they could pick up their kids at the Harris Teeter on Peace Haven Road. Then that changed to the YMCA nearby, then back to Harris Teeter.
I didn't know what was going on. My daughter texted me and she said something's going on at IJ school at Mount Tabor. You need to get out there. You need to call. And then I kept trying to call, couldn't get through.
Confusion turned to chaos in the Harris Teeter parking lot. Police say a disturbance caused panic, but it was not a second shooting.
Just seen a bunch of people running from, running from the road up here, and me and my best friend right here, his son goes to Jefferson, and we kind of ducked behind the cars or whatever.
Parents like Chavis Dudley had issues early on trying to talk with their child, adding to the stress.
I have no communication with him right now, and that's what's driving me crazy because I don't know. He texted me the last time, he said he was safe, and then that's it.
Eventually, police chose to reunite families at the Coliseum, busing kids there and leading parents from the parking lot based on alphabetical order. The process took hours.
Sir, I'm just trying to get my child out of this school and back home.
Parents were waiting here all day, and as to why that process took hours, the police told parents that they need to identify the children and then organize them correctly so they could all be safely returned to their families.
Avery, thank you. The shooting at Mount Tabor High School prompted roadblocks to the point where it even shut down some entire neighborhoods. WFMY News 2's Marissa Tansino is live in one of those neighborhoods with reaction from people who live nearby. Marissa.
Well, Chad, the street outside the high school much quieter now than it was earlier this afternoon. You can see just one police cruiser with its lights on remains, but this afternoon the street was flooded with police cars, dozens of them. People came home to their neighborhood shut down and couldn't even pull into their own driveway. Police sirens and flashing lights was all you could hear in this Winston-Salem neighborhood Wednesday afternoon after a shooting at Mount Tabor High School shut down the area and prompted a manhunt.
We couldn't turn into our own yard, so we went up the street.
One student, identified as William Chavis Raynard Miller Jr., was shot. He died at the hospital. Rodney Alston lives a few houses down from the high school. He couldn't even pull into his driveway because the road was shut down.
It's like, it must be serious.
Alston said he's a parent himself and can't wrap his head around something so senseless happening.
You sent your kid off to school in the morning and they get shot at school. That doesn't make any sense to me.
The community came together in prayer outside the school, many keeping the family of the student and community in their hearts, hoping the healing process starts soon.
They got my condolences.
Yeah. Now, Mount Tabor High School will be closed tomorrow. The district says crisis counselors will be offered off-site to offer help to parents, students, and staff. And the district says parents, if you have children that have anxiety or distress after this, to contact a school counselor.
Thanks, Marissa. A hard moment for everyone to process.
Both the Winston-Salem police chief and the Forsyth County sheriff were hit pretty hard emotionally today by all of this news during a conference this afternoon.
One student was located with a gunshot wound. Medical responders began life-saving measures, and the injured student was transported to Wake Forest University Baptist Medical Center, where he succumbed to his injuries.
I hadn't cried in a while, but I've been crying since I left the hospital. I told him, I gave his mother Shannon my word when I talked with her on the way down here, that I would say her son's name: William Chavis Raynard Miller Jr.
While many parents were waiting in the heat, hoping to hear from and reunite with their children, some folks came out to show some kindness. Here you can see a man giving out water to parents in the Harris Teeter parking lot on Peacehaven Drive. Some of those who handed out water are members of Elevation Church in Greensboro. Some members told us many other fellow church members are students at Mount Tabor, and this was the least they could do to help. Several lawmakers responded to the deadly shooting. A school shooting. Senator Richard Burr said, quote, "I'm deeply saddened to hear of the passing of a Mount Tabor High School student this afternoon. I commend local law enforcement and first responders for their quick and ongoing efforts to keep our community safe." Winston-Salem Mayor Alan Joynes said in part, "We are deeply saddened by the event at Mount Tabor Senior High School. Our thoughts and prayers are with the student who was injured, and of course, we did later learn that that student died." Governor Roy Cooper said in part, "Our prayers are with the victims, their families, and all the students of Mount Tabor High School," adding, "We must work to ensure the safety of students and educators quickly, apprehend the shooter, and keep guns off school grounds." Mount Tabor Student Body President William Burns also released a statement. It says, "The event that took place today at our school is incredibly heartbreaking and tragic. I would like to extend my deepest condolences to the Miller family and my love and prayers to everyone that is part of the Mount Tabor family. Thank you to the administration, teachers, and the rest of the staff, as well as all of law enforcement for their help and support today. We as a school are a family, and a family picks each other up when we are down in our worst hours. I want all students to know that they never have to hesitate to reach out for someone to talk to."
As law enforcement rushed in to secure the scene today and catch that suspect, there were actually so many rumors flying around on social media that the sheriff said it really made their job protecting kids harder.
Before you take to social media, before you take to the rumor mill, please give us a chance to give you the facts as they happen, as we get them.
So to set the record straight, we want to verify the top 4 claims that have been floating around all day. First, that there were really 3 people that were shot because some people saw 3 ambulances leave the school. This one right here is false. The Winston-Salem Police Chief, Katrina Thompson, says 1 student was shot, 2 had to get medical treatment for other reasons. 1 student had a seizure during all of the stress of today, and another fell down while trying to get away. Next up, the claim that this shooting was gang-related. At the news conference today, reporters directly asked if the shooting was gang-related. Here's how the sheriff responded.
Any indication this is gang-related at all?
Again, as I said, this is early in the investigation. I think 4 hours and 30 minutes we're into it. There are so many moving parts right now. The first thing is to locate, so there's so many things that's still yet to be done. I've been moving since 12:05, 12:07, and so I have no way of knowing that question as of yet. I have no way of knowing the answer to that question.
Okay, not a clear answer there. He said he needs to investigate more. So we're going to move that one to the middle for right now, to the questionable category. There were also claims all day long that this shooter tried to target other schools. For now, that one is false. According to Winston-Salem police, other schools were placed on lockdown, but look at this tweet right here. Police said many schools in the area are on lockdown out of an abundance of caution. There has not been another incident. There was also a claim made that there was a second shooting at the Harris Teeter where parents were supposed to pick up their kids. Now, our crews on scene heard a woman screaming that there had been a shooting, and the sheriff's department originally told us shots were fired after the suspect was seen running across the parking lot. But this one gets moved to false because once the dust was settled, there was this tweet I want you to take a look at. Winston-Salem police said there was a disturbance in the area of the Harris Teeter off Peace Haven, but there is not a confirmation of a second shooting. No injuries reported. Since police could not confirm the shooting, that one also goes in the false category. Look, there's so much we don't know about what happened today, but the biggest question, why? Why now? Why Mount Tabor? Why our community, our family?
We've seen the stories on TV and online. It's always happening somewhere else, someplace we've never been. It's a danger we watch from afar, but today it happened here. The pain, the fear, and the heartbreak is ours.
Before you go to bed or wake up tomorrow morning, hug your loved ones a little tighter. Tell your kids you love them. Call your parents, call your friends, because you never know what tomorrow holds.
But tomorrow will come, and we will get through it together.
Hey there, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah.
Left shoulder.
This shoulder. Not you, not you. I'm talking to SCORTUS. No, I'm talking to SCORTUS.
Another mic check for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right.
Chad Silber live in Winston-Salem tonight for our continuing coverage of a deadly shooting inside Mount Tabor High School today. I'm across the street from the Joel Coliseum on University for a very good reason. This ended up being the secret location where students and their parents were reunited. For hours today, police escorted busloads of kids from Mount Tabor to the Joel Coliseum to reunite them with their families. At the time, they didn't want us to tell viewers, just to tell people in general, where they were moving this reunification, because they didn't want the suspected shooter to know about it. At the time, the shooter was still on the loose. You'll remember that all students made it out of Mount Tabor High School alive today, except for one. William Chavis Raynard Miller Jr., 15 years old. The suspect accused of shooting him is in custody tonight. We hope to learn more during a news conference tomorrow morning.
Earlier today, we talked with Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page about what happened at Mount Tabor.
He reflected on his days as a school resource officer and what the role meant during today's shooting.
When you're a school resource officer, you're kind of like the police chief for that school, and your job is to patrol that school and try to protect all those children and look after the kids, the staff. I mean, you're a law enforcement officer first, but you're also there as a resource for the children. You're a resource to the staff, and basically is to make sure that teachers can teach because they feel safe, and students can learn because they feel safe, and just try to make sure you can protect them wherever you can.
The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office plans to hold another news conference tomorrow morning with the governor.
We will be bringing you the latest information on air and online at WFMYnews2.com.
Of course, as all of this was happening, storms were rolling through the area. That was actually making it more difficult for folks to get where they needed to be in that stressful time. Here's what it looked like in Greensboro. This is earlier around 5 to 6 and 7 o'clock. That storm had a little bit more bark than bite to it. We didn't end up seeing a lot of wind damage, but there was rainfall, and we all got a pretty good soaking today. Our rainfall is done, but I do want to call your attention to an incredible disaster unfolding across the Northeast right now. Historic flooding is happening in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York City. The city is partially underwater tonight, and you see all of these reports. They've had horrific tornadoes. All of that is from Ida, which for us was a walk in the park compared to what they are dealing with up the coast. It's a bad, bad storm. Comfy weather, lower humidity. It's arriving right now. This is the live dew point map. Humidity going away. We're seeing that less humid air move in for the first time in a long time. I think some folks will have lows in the 50s for the first time since July 4th. It's been a while, everybody. You're really going to enjoy this, and we deserve it. Looking at tomorrow, low humidity moving in, breezy with a high of 81. Feels like $1 million going through that upcoming weekend.